Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, I would like to explain about how to write and publish in newspaper and also magazines. The definitions of news is a report of actual and important events. News is a journalistic product. Writing news is an effort to convey information or news about an event or things in written forms. A good news writer can write a complete and communicative story so that news readers can understand everything that is conveyed in the news without difficulty and without any misinterpretations. A news writer will choose which events are worth and being news and how to write. The first, find events and incidents to make news. News contains events that are actual and important to be disseminated. For example, events or incidents of fire, natural disaster, and other sudden events of public interest. If there are no events or incidents, it is necessary to search for activities or unique events or incidents that arise in the community, such as news about officials who have gone to traditional market. And second is news source search. When an event or incident that will be used as a news has been found, then the news writer needs to find the right source of information so that the contents of the news accurate. For example, news about theft, robbery, accidents, etc. Therefore, to obtain information, namely by conducting interviews with the relevant police as witnesses or local residents. That is interview, observations, and documentations. Conducting interview is necessary to obtain facts about events and incidents that occur. Victim data, place of incidents or chronology of events, as well as the data on victims and the incident process. Interviews were conducted to question and answer with information source. Observations are made by observing the symptoms that appears at the scene. Manual documentation is done by searching for collecting data from books or an other document. And the fourth is not information method. In the process of seeking information, it is necessary to record information matters regarding the news to be written. In recording news, writing can be guided by 5W plus 1H questions. Namely, first is what events happens, who, who is involved in events or incidents, where is the event or incident occur, when the event or incident occur, and why the events or incident occur, how the process or events or incidents. And fifth is create a news framework. News framework is a lot description of how the information that has been collected will be mixed in a news report. News consists of three elements, namely title, text, and completeness or explanation of the news. The written news model can also be in the form of direct news that presents 5W and 1H elements at the beginning of the paragraph, usually in the first and second paragraph, or also in direct news that present 5W plus 1H elements in the middle to the end of the paragraph. And six writing news stories. News stories is the first news article that news story should be summarized and should begin with the elements who and what. Adjust the writing structure with the Indonesian language rules, namely SPOK, subject, predicate, object, and descriptions or keterangan. For news about events that will occur, that time and place elements are usually placed at the end of the paragraph. Use a minimum of quotes or questions on the news core. And seventh, rating news content. News content is a detailed information to be conveyed in news. The news content is written after the news tells. In writing news content, it should be arranged in short paragraphs containing 3 to 5 sentences. Also try to keep each paragraph containing only one idea. A short paragraph containing only one idea will encourage the writer to continue writing and make it easier for the reader to scan. And the eighth is news editing. News editing is done to avoid errors in writing information that might occur, such as spellings, name or location, etc., grammar, meaning of sentences, differentiations of opinion with facts, and writings news that will be published. We must also pay attention to not violating the journalistic code of ethics. After making revision, it is better if you read the news again and revise it again, read again and revise it again and again until you are absolutely sure that the news writer has no errors. And the next is does not contain slanders, incitement, and lies. News contents published must provide benefit and protections to the public. In writings news content, uh, it is prohibited to contain things that are slanderous, insentiments, misleading, and contains lies or hoax. In writing and publishing news, care must be taken so that news content is not detrimental and has a negative impact on society. And the next is does not highlight elements of violence, sexuality, gambling, narcotic and drugs abuse. News that is made and broadcast to the public to consider the possibility of the public inconvenience, to pay attention to privacy, and to categorize broadcast for the benefit of children. Therefore, it is also regulated so that in the production of the broadcasting, there are restrictions on elements that sexual contents, violence, narcotics, and the like, and gambling and others. And the next is not contrasting tribe, religion, race, and class. News writing is obligated to respect difference in ethnicity, religion, race, and class, whether it's group based on different in culture, age, gender, and socioeconomic conditions. In realizing respects, writing news is prohibited from containing contents that is degrading, contradicting, or harassing certain ethnicities, religion, race, and groups. Even when broadcasting news about conflict events, when writers are obligated to maintain independence and neutrality. The next is not regarding the values that apply in society, because news that is produced and circulated in the public to the consider the possibility of the public inconvenience. Therefore, in writing news that will be broadcast and the necessary to show an attitude of respect for the values and norms, politeness, and decisions that apply in society. News writer must show respect to the difference in the values that exist in the news they make. And The next is grammar and vocabulary. In sentence compilations, use grammar in accordance with the rules of the Indonesian language SPLK. Use third person pronouns in describing events. In its preparation, it is better to use active noise and passive voice. And the next is punctuations and sentence structure. Punctuation marks are needed to perform sentence breaks. Make sure to put punctuations properly, which is in accordance with Indonesian rules and does not damage the meaning of the sentence. Avoid long sentence up to 16 words because short sentences are easier to understand and easier to read than long sentences. And the last is citations and attributions. Quotations are needed to strengthen, affirm to or provide facts is written news, while attributions is needed in opinion stories. Well, that's all my presentation today. The last, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.